Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We are Warkop Gridiron Podcast, NFL Indonesia Podcast presented by Warkop Media. I'm your host Joey, and always with my co-host Ardio and Oka, and we have guest today, Chief of Warkop Media Amar, fans dari Bears. Welcome everyone, and sorry, welcome back-nya 5 kali untuk pay respect to the best quarterback in NFL, Daniel Jones, 5 turnover, 3 interception, 2 fumble. Best time of my life.
Hey, to clear things up, I'm a Bears and Patriots fan. Shout out. Andra, produser.
Kita bisa dukung dua tim ternyata.
Ternyata bisa.
Why not?
Gua enggak.
Why not?
Kalau gitu gue bisa milih tim lain gitu. Kalau misalkan bisa dua tim, gue Texans kayaknya gue menderita banget gitu gue liatnya.
My brother, that's on you.
Lu bukannya Texans sama Rocket, Kak?
Texans sama Cowboys. Dua-duanya Dallas.
Sama Cowboys.
Ya.
Ya, tapi tahun ini gue lebih ke Patriots sih.
So. Tapi gue mau bilang kalau misalkan Texans defense digabung sama offense Cowboys itu best team NFL.
Itu best team NFL.
I'm ready to say
that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Tuh.
Tapi nggak bisa.
By the way, gengs, gue pengen ngomong terima kasih dulu nih. Our last episode broke 100 views, second most view after our first episode. Gue seneng banget. Dan kita loncat tiba-tiba jadi 45 subs, ya kan? Mungkin kedengarannya kecil, tapi remember, it's never about the size. It's about us can keep you all satisfied at home. And hopefully, we'll do good job at it ya.
Hey, yo!
Time out.
Coba diganti mungkin kata-katanya it's about us penetrating the market.
Oke, double again. Gue permanen kayak pasang gini.
Gini terus sepanjang episode. Dan buat lu semua nih ya yang seneng banget ngikutin our coverage of flag football, kita bakal ada upcoming secret episode. Wow, lu pasti gak sabar kan ngelihatnya. Tunggu, please keep supporting us by subscribing, follow our social media at WRKP Media di Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and wait for that upcoming episode buat bahas flag football. Pokoknya kalau lu suka banget flag football, you don't want to miss this. Mungkin buat satu clue-nya adalah I guess.
That's a great one.
Yes, that's the clue. So that's it ya. Dan satu lagi gila sih minggu ini. Banyak banget yang cedera. MetLife ambil lutut orang lagi. FedEx Field ambil 3 jiwa. Jaden Daniels lutut elbow-nya dislocated, itu parah banget. Ngeri. Marshall Latimore ACL. Luke McCaffrey juga cedera, out of the season. Kyler Murray kena penyakit COD. Dan
cash on demand atau yang
cash on delivery ya.
Cash on delivery.
Sekarang
gue nggak pernah tahu istilahnya, men. Soalnya gue nggak tahu istilahnya apa kan sebenarnya. COD
Call of Duty, dia kena penyakit Call of Duty. Tucker Kraft kena ACL juga. Travis Hunter kena cedera lutut multiple weeks. Gila sih, pada cedera semua. Semoga mereka semua cepat sembuh musim depan. Dan Michael Williams, maaf, MetLife turf on it again. Tim gua bersalah. Damn. Tapi yang gue pengen bahas nih, kita banyak banget sih trade deadline, bro. Trade deadline. Gue kaget sih. Gue kaget banget. Ya kan. Gue tidur berharap kayak terakhir tuh cuma Jacoby Myers. Ya udah sih, 4th and 6 kinda expensive. Cuma gue pikir pas gue tidur bangun paling the best next thing yang bakal ke pop up paling Trey Hendrickson kali. Atau ya kan, maybe that's Breece Hall. Gue bangun, gue buka tuh Twitter, gue kaget sih. Sauce Gardner cabut. Quinnen Williams.
Bukan pemain Jets yang kita kira ya.
Ternyata pemain Jets yang kita kira.
Exactly.
Kita pikir Breece Hall, kita pikir Jermaine Johnson, tapi ternyata Sauce Gardner cabut ke Colts. Quinnen Williams cabut ke Cowboys, ya kan. Nah, this is interesting ya, karena gue nggak ngeliat Jets kayak bakal fire sale. Gue pikir mereka bakal keep their core dan cari quarterback kan. Especially Sauce Gardner baru di-extend kan 30 juta kalau nggak salah ya, 30 juta. I think one of the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, right? Ditukar buat 2 first round dari Indianapolis Colts, right? Dan Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell. Yes. Dan gue pengen nanya dulu nih ya. Gue pengen langsung nanya our guest, our chief of Warkop Media, Amar, right? Gimana Mar? Gue pengen tahu nih your thoughts on is this the correct move? Jets mereka buang core pemain mereka for picks that might hit or not? Karena draft itu kan lottery ya. What do you think about this unprecedented move di trade NFL deadline 2025?
Hear me out. This could be as unprecedented as Zoran Mamdani wins the New York mayor.
Wow.
Let me tell you, man. Here's the thing. Aaron Glenn itu adalah mantan defensive coordinatornya timnya Farhan, Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions sama Campbell went through this kind of thing before, di mana mereka pernah sempat jelek dulu, sempat kalah rada banyak. It takes quite a lot of time to actually rebuild until they become this Detroit Lion teams that we know right now. Dan kalau lu lihat, gue nggak bilang sepenuhnya sama, ada kemiripan di dalam bagaimana mereka ngebangun timnya. They have Olu Fashanu, they have Elijah Vera-Tucker, and with that draft picks from selling out Sauce Gardner and also Quinnen Williams, they can reinforce the offensive line dengan early picks ya di ronde-ronde pertama. Dan yang gak kalah penting dengan posisinya mereka sekarang, they can actually draft a franchise quarterback yang bisa ngebawa mereka ke persaingan yang lebih ketat, at least di divisinya dulu, karena sekarang di divisinya udah terlalu kuat. Hal ini kita bisa lihat agak-agak mirroring sama Detroit Lions yang udah ada Penei Sewell, kemudian they also have Jahmyr Gibbs, which is interesting, dan ini jadi nyambung sama mereka nggak jual Breece Hall. Jadi mereka punya running core yang bagus, punya offensive lineman yang oke juga, dan mereka akan draft, I hope they draft franchise quarterback ya, this time a proper one gitu, nggak kayak Sam Darnold atau Zach Wilson. Dan jujur ini bisa jadi satu piece of domino yang akan ngerubah landscape di AFC beberapa tahun ke depan menurut gua. That's my hot take.
Oh nice ya. Cuma emang gua ini sih, gua agak ya ini new regime ya, jadi mereka punya hak untuk tear down the roster as they see fit dan mungkin mau bangun lagi ya, which is well in the draft you have actually hit the pick and develop right, which is itu adalah Sauce Gardner dan Quinnen Williams ya. Cuma gue agree, mungkin mereka mikir kayak kita punya stats di defense, kalah juga, we need offense, right? Kita butuh offense. Mereka udah draft Armand Membu right tackle, Olafashanu left tackle, dan of course mereka butuh quarterback. Tahun ini adalah tahun mereka pasti mendapatkan quarterback, either itu Fernando Mendoza dan Temur atau yang lainnya. Cuma Mar, kalau lu pikirin ya, lu compare ya sama Lions situation ya. Lions kan udah punya Jared Goff, mereka bisa fix Jared Goff kan, akhirnya lu jadi bagus lagi. In this, do you think that in this next 26 draft mereka tuh punya 2 first round di 26 draft dan mereka punya 3 di 27 by the way ya. 2 itu Jets dan Colts di 2026, di tahun 2027 ada Colts, Dallas dan Jets sendiri. Menurut lu Mar, do you think, karena kita masih ada Justin Fields masih under kontrak dan gak bisa diapa-apain karena dikasih garansi 30 juta across 2 years. Mereka stuck with Justin Fields next year. Do you think mereka harus draft quarterback di 2026 atau mereka nunggu di 2027 di mana mungkin kelasnya lebih menarik, ada Julian Saing, mungkin Arch Manning jadi lebih bagus lagi, ada Dylan Raiola, ada DJ Lackway dan many names dibanding mereka draft dulu di 2026 yang namanya ada Fernando Mendoza, tapi gue juga nggak begitu yakin sama nama-nama lainnya yang bakal whether mereka bakal declare kayak Lanoris Sellers atau Dante Moore.
Well, fair enough ya, karena menurut gue di sini seperti yang tadi udah gue jelasin, the goal I think is to rebuild one thing at a time gitu, one piece at a time, satu-satu. Kayaknya di tahun ini, well I could be wrong again. Kayaknya di tahun ini mereka akan fokus on building the trenches, offensive lineman, kemudian maybe cari talent untuk ya menutupi kehilangannya Quinnen Williams and also Sauce Gardner. Barulah di tahun 2027 they would consider drafting a quarterback, or maybe if they desperately need to at least nggak kelihatan tanking banget, either they can stay with Justin Fields or actually buy low for Kyler Murray, which is very interesting.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Okay.
I'd like to add a little bit more though. Tadi kan kita udah bahas soal Jets-nya, kayaknya nggak fair kalau gue nggak bahas at least sedikit deh dari sisi Colts-nya. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time we saw a trade for aku bisa bilang franchise cornerback yang memakan lebih dari satu first round, which was I think Jalen Ramsey to the Rams. Iya kan?
Jalen Ramsey.
Kalau gue nggak salah itu. And the last time they did that. Yeah, and the last time they did that, they won the Super Bowl. So I'm getting this idea that the Colts want to replicate that success and win right now.
Bedanya itu satu ada Stafford, satu ada Daniel Jones gitu.
Betul.
Yeah.
Okay,
that fair take, tapi menurut gue di sini mereka percaya sama Daniel Jones. Gak ada alasan untuk gak percaya setelah make that kind of move. They saw the success in how they built the offensive line. We see all the clips. Okay, dari sisi half full glassnya si Colts adalah that game versus the Steelers was just a fluke. We win, we lost, but overall, what we're seeing right now with Daniel Jones and everything, with JT and also our offensive line, is already good enough to actually compete in the higher stage. And we need the reinforcement that we long desire for in Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner, by the way, let me read on the stats. Yeah, I check on the stats before we go in. It's currently 1.2 yards average target separation, which is first in the NFL. Second in tight window force, which is 63.6%. And also first in coverage steps per reception in 20.9. Jadi kalau dibilang jelek, jelas enggak. Statsnya ada bagus di sana. Well, he's not there yet in terms of how we can compare it to Derek Stingley or Pat Surtain last year, the Defensive Player of the Year. But kalau ada bikin tangga ya, bikin tier gitu, dia tuh ada di nomor 2 deh, di tier 2-nya. Tier 1-nya yang tadi 2 nama gue sebutin, ini tier 2-nya. Which is already good enough for the Colts to actually compete. So that's my take.
Yes, actually Colts ya. Di depan gue nih datanya, mereka tuh udah top 10 in point against per game ya, which is 20, averaging 20 poin, which is 7 best on NFL. Tapi emang stats mereka untuk passing yards allowed per game adalah 244,8 yard, which is just 26 in the ranking, 6 worst, right? Sekarang mereka punya Gardner cornerback 1 dan Charvarius Ward cornerback 2. That's no fly zone in Indianapolis. Cuma ini bukti kalau Colts, they trust Daniel Jones with everything they got. And hopefully Jones gak disappoint ya. Otherwise Colts are in deep, bahasa yang tidak kasarnya adalah deep stuff.
Deep troubles.
Deep trouble.
In deep trouble.
Yes, gue gak bisa bilang deep. Ya kan. Oke, that's for Jets ya. Tadi quite good points ya Kyler Murray. Tadi gue mikir kalau gue jadi Jets, gue coba nelfon Bengals terus cek, woi lu masih mau sama Joe Burrow nggak? Ya kan, gue punya 3 first round pick buat lu rebuild. Apalagi gue lihat kayaknya Zach Taylor dan Duke Tobin kayaknya bakal dipecat ya musim ini. Mereka bisa miss playoff lagi. Nah, Kyler Murray di bench ya kan, mereka bisa bilang Foot butuh heal more time, and whatnot. Tapi the matter of fact dia di bench buat Jacoby Brissett, ya kan. Gue mau nanya Ardio sih dulu ya kan, sebelum Jets coba Bailo nih sama Kyler Murray or misalnya mau draft quarterback 2022. Kalau menurut lu Ardio, lu setuju nggak sih Kyler Murray di bench sama Arizona Cardinals? Mereka chose to elect Jacoby Brissett as their starting quarterback, although mereka nggak commit sampai end of season. Mereka cuma bilang Jacoby Brissett adalah our starting quarterback untuk lawan Seattle nanti. What do you think, Ardio, about this event?
Oke, kalau dari gua ngelihatnya ini move yang bagus ya setelah Murray cedera, ambil Brissett dimainin, dan ternyata hasilnya lebih promising lah ketimbang Murray yang dari, kalau kita lihat ya dari statnya 5 game versus 3 gamenya Brissett, Kyler Murray itu 5 game ada 6 touchdown, 3 interception, 68% completion, 962 yard. Tapi kalau Jacoby Brissett, dia dari 3 game aja udah complete 65%, 850 plus yard, 6 touchdown sama 1 interception. Jadi secara angka memang lebih bagus. Menurut gua ini lebih ke arah nunggu dulu sampai mungkin 5 game ya. Sama-sama 5 game, baru nanti setelah itu diputuskan siapa yang bakal lebih bagus statnya, karena 3 sama 5 bandingannya masih agak kurang fair. Dan gue lihat juga Murray itu kemarin menangnya kan 2 ya dari 5 game yang dia start, itu juga cuma lawan Saints sama Panthers di awal musim yang dua-duanya sama-sama jelek. Habis itu kalah lawan 49ers, Seahawks, sama yang unexpected Titans tuh yang gamenya lucu tuh sampai tendang-tendangan bola ke endzone. Itu yang kita kira mungkin Cardinals bisa menang, pun kalau nggak bisa ngebantai tetap menang karena Titans lagi jelek dengan Cam Ward, ternyata malah lebih lucu lagi. Sedangkan Brissett ini tuh kalah sama Colts yang lagi bagus, Packers yang lagi bagus, dan abis bye kemarin menang lawan Cowboys ya. Kalau yang kita tahu Cowboys defense-nya emang jelek gitu. Jadi menurut gua start sama Brissett dulu, tunggu sampai 5 game. Karena kan abis ini ketemu si Hawk lagi, itu bisa jadi turning point, dimana kalau misalkan emang Brissett lebih bagus, mending bench dulu aja Kyler Murray buat di trade lah nanti musim depan gitu. Dan menurut gua ya, ini mungkin personal dari gua lebih suka QB itu yang gede gitu, yang tinggi, nggak usah tinggi-tinggi banget, tapi paling nggak dia bisa ngelihat pas their lineman gitu. Nah, tapi maksudnya kayak bukannya gimana ya, bukan diskriminasi soal tinggi, tapi maksudnya kalau lo ada di certain level, di bawah certain level minimum height requirement tuh ya lo akan ada di certain bench.
Di bawah certain level of height nggak boleh naik roller coaster kan?
Kyler Murray sama Bryce Young itu nggak boleh naik roller coaster tuh sebenarnya. Mereka tunggu di sideline.
Iya. Makanya kan tiketnya juga masih setengah harga lah kalau misalkan kemana-mana. Jadi kayaknya emang harus
bukan toddler.
Harus Murray harus di sit dulu lah.
Ya, dan yang paling kerasa ya Ardio ya, gue paling ngerasa, gue kan punya Trey McBride di Fantasy, gue juga punya Marvin Harrison di Fantasy. Sejak pakai Brissett meledak bro. Kemarin Marvin Harrison yang tadinya nangis di bench
lebih bisa ditarget
karena quarterbacknya begitu, meledak kemarin 22 poin kan. Kemarin Marvin Harrison dapat 1 touchdown, 96 yard, 7 catch, man. Itu udah it's good number dari yang tadinya dipikir bust sama cukup Jacoby Brissett.
Maserati Marv.
Yes.
Maserati Marv is there.
Bapaknya juga udah kesel itu sama offense kan, ngeri lagi loh Marvin Harrison
senior. Odunze minggu depan ya, bapaknya baru marah.
Iya. Odunze juga bapaknya udah
kayaknya emang bagusan Ray itu dicoba diputar ke running back deh. Kan dia Swifty gitu kan.
Lututnya udah gak kuat kayaknya jadi running back.
Coba package. Bayangin ya, backfield ada Breece Hall, Justin Fields sama Kyler Murray.
Wow. Ngacir.
That's what we call a wildcat, man. Itu zaman-zaman wildcat pas yang punya QB mobile semua kan.
Iya udah wildcat position terus tuh.
Istilahnya kalau kita nonton iShield 21 itu ini apa? Dragonfly. Dengan dua quarterback gitu ya.
Iya, tambahin tua satu lagi jadi Rotten Dragonfly itu. 3 Justin Fields, Kyler Murray tua, nah jadi rotan Dragonfly dah tuh.
Yang lempar Breece Hall.
Tua Tagovailoa catching stray.
Tapi Oka nih, gue pengen nanya lo Oka. The Kyler Murray situation ya, menurut gue ini menarik sih karena this regime yang Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon dan Monty Ossenfort ya kan GM-nya mereka ini tuh udah tahun ketiga ya kan. Tahun pertama bisa dipahami rekor mereka 4-13. Tahun kedua 8-9 ya kan, mereka miss playoff just a bit. Belum 500, tapi sekarang mereka baru 3-6, baru 3 wins ya kan. Yes. Tapi untungnya Kyler Murray itu adalah quarterback dari the old regime, ya kan?
Betul.
Harusnya mereka nggak attach sama Kyler Murray. Toh pas mereka datang udah di extend anyway. Mereka pilihannya Cliff Kingsbury dan GM Cardinals dulu.
Steve Keim.
Steve Keim. One of the worst drafter ever, ya kan? Kalau lu nih, Oka ya, lu ngelihat situasi Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray itu kalau misalnya lu cut ya di tahun 2026 post June 1 cut, the dead cap actually is still high, tapi masih mungkin Cardinals masih bisa serap ya, which is kalau mereka ngelakuin cut post June 1 tahun 2026 mereka bisa save $5.7 juta, dead money-nya 47 juta tapi ya buat tahun 2026 ya kan. If you are in this situation, you are set on fire dan lu punya quarterback yang I guess nggak sebagus yang dipikirkan, dia former first overall. Do you just cut him loose? Do you still stick with him? What would you do, Oka, kalau lo ada di posisi ini?
Oke, situasinya memang Kyler ini juga udah nggak kondusif karena a lot of debacles waktu dia minta extension. I think it's last year. Ya, dan itu
yang disuruh belajar ya, ada di kontraknya disuruh belajar, terus he has ada clause di mana dia harus attending certain meetings with maintaining his quality of play gitu loh. Jadi intinya sebenarnya adalah dia he has a lot of potentials. Dia menurut gua as a raw athlete is very very good. Karena kita ingat dia Kyler Murray ini di draft juga sama Major League Baseball tahun 2018.
Yes.
Oakland.
He's a
di draft sama Ace kan?
Yes, sama Oakland Athletics. Jadi dia udah di draft first round MLB, di draft first round overall pick dengan NFL. So as someone who comes out from the college winning Heisman, dia is very promising dan kita ya understand lah the hype and kenapa Arizona akhirnya decided to trade Josh Rosen dulu 2019 untuk ngedraft Kyler Murray. But since 2021, I think the last really good years of Kyler, dia has been very inconsistent dan agak struggle untuk staying on the field. Dia punya injury record dari 2022 sampai 2025, and this is coming before Jonathan Gannon sama Monty Ossenfort comes in. Jadi 2022 dia main 11 game, 2023 8 games, 2024 he plays a full season, but still not that good. 2025 dia cedera lagi. So for the situations itself, dengan cap space Cardinals sekarang situationnya dari salary cap mereka, it might be their best interest to move on from Kyler. Karena all the numbers that shown in the stats, both in basic stats and the advanced stats, it's trending downwards semuanya untuk Kyler. Karena gue sempat juga ngelihat in Pro Football Reference, like ini adalah musim terendahnya dari Kyler Murray terkait dengan deep ball passes. Karena this season he has 3.8 completion yards per completion. Jadi in simple terms adalah he's not really completing that many deep passes atau medium passes. Most of the completion dia kan sebenarnya dari short passes atau from the screens. Jadi a lot of numbers showing kalau misalkan Kyler is not really the answer anymore. He used to be, but it's not anymore. Dan gue rasa dengan GM sekarang, I don't know if the GM will be in a hot seat just yet. Gitu. I think Jonathan Gannon mungkin akan dapat satu musim lagi. in case kalau mereka akhirnya draft quarterback dan really reset the team gitu. Karena mereka punya weapons, mereka punya Maserati Marvin Harrison, terus mereka punya Trey McBride, salah satu tight end terbaik both fantasy wise and real life wise. Dan I think the overall team juga is not really that bad as many people think. Tapi a lot of things yang sekarang kejadian di Cardinals ini most of the time adalah berasal dari quarterback plays. And Kyler big contract doesn't really help his case at all. Dan with all the Call of Duty things, terus juga dia punya debacle tentang kontraknya, dia harus nonton film, a lot of things tentang karakter dia. Jadi pertanyaan itu bisa dijawab kalau misalkan GM dan head coach-nya stay dan mau reset the market, reset the team. I think Kyler's future saat ini mungkin akan di tim lain di 2026. Maybe
on the defense also ya Joe sama Oka, they have Buda Baker kan, sama siapa yang masuk segmen rock mininya Farhan?
Walter Nolan.
Jago banget.
Mantap tuh. 4 tackles 2 for loss, ya kan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pas deflected.
Dan emang gue ngecek roster Cardinals tuh it's not bad man. Kayak ada Paris Johnson start tackle from the Ohio State, right? It has holes but still have like good pieces, right? Dan gue setuju sih Kyler Murray time di Cardinal harusnya udah come to an end sih. Mereka udah coba bertahun-tahun dan nggak bring them anywhere closer even to deep playoff run.
Dan dia juga to close it out itu tentang Kyler Murray, dia adalah dual threat quarterback yang have a lot of injuries dan sekarang dia udah nggak mobile lagi. Jadi satu-satunya his really lethal weapon yaitu scrambling ability-nya dia itu udah gone.
Yeah, it's gone. The 2021 Kyler Murray yang ada 13 rushing touchdown, that's gone man, udah nggak ada lagi.
Dia
absolutely.
Adanya 13 chicken dinner.
Mobile
COD dia kebanyakannya sekarang.
Sabtu lo buka Twitch ada Kyler, Minggu lo nonton football ada Kyler, Senin lo nonton baseball ada Kyler.
Oke.
Kyler semua.
Ngumpulin saweran.
Yes. Aduh. Ya $500 lah ya, bisa lah tuh disawer. Ya,
karena COD kan gamenya agak demanding gitu kan.
Mahal ya kan.
Mahal.
Hey, we're all doing this for the love of the community, guys. Come on.
Yes, guys. By the way, kemarin ya, jujur ini one of the biggest trade deadline I guess in my life. Gue nggak nyangka sih kalau trade deadline bakal moving so many names. Nah, gue punya pertanyaan buat Chief, right? From all of these moves, menurut lo who's the winner and the losers of the trade deadline 2025?
Well, tadi sebenarnya gue pengen bilang ya winnernya Colts.
Gak boleh ada yang seri ya, gak boleh ada yang seri, harus menang atau kalah.
Okay, I'll pick the Seahawks for this.
Seahawks, wow.
I'll pick the Seahawks with Rashid Shaheed karena Cooper Kupp cedera. They need more support on the receiving end. Rashid Shaheed is a great wide receiver. Dia bakal ngebuka play lebih banyak untuk JSN sendiri yang mungkin akan lebih fokus di slot. I can imagine JSN being the Cooper Kupp of the Seahawks kayak waktu dulu Cooper Kupp di Rams. Jadi focus on that middle to short route and getting more of that yard after catch. Nanti kayak the X receiver that gets everything open tuh kayak Torrey Horton dan juga Rashid Shaheed itu akan clear everything out. Yeah, so Seahawks,
oke. Oke, gue agree. Seahawks underrated move sih dan gue setuju. Sam Darnold lagi hot, butuh more weapon. Dia udah punya JSN tapi the stretch the deep threat kayak Rashid Shaheed, it's gonna bring another dimension to Clint Kubiak offense ya. Which is I guess although Jason creeps route runner tapi emang Seahawks I guess needs that deep threat ya. Nah, gue agree. And ngomongin Sam Darnold ya, one of the hottest quarterback. Mungkin lo notice yang di rumah, we are wearing suits, batik. Farhan pakai kemeja dan dasi ya, udah ganteng banget. Ardio tadi pakai baju koko, cuma diganti jas akhirnya. Buat podcast yang lain. Kita sekarang adalah mid-season award kita.
Oh, mid-season award?
Yes,
really?
Udah week 9 by the way. Udah week 9 NFL, minggu ini udah masuk week 10. Time goes so fast when your team sucks like us.
Not me though, not me.
Yeah, not you though.
Gua
Oka
akhirnya ya.
Gua Oka paling menderita di sini. Ardio baik-baik aja. Amar paling seneng. Farhan baru kalah sama timnya Farhan, Lions baru kalah sama the final boss of performative male JJ McCarthy.
Sebelum disebutin listnya, ini anggaplah kalau misalkan season itu berakhir musim sekarang.
Saat ini, detik ini berakhir.
Saat ini. Jadi enggak yang ada projectingnya.
Betul.
Gitu maksudnya gitu.
Yes, setuju. Itu.
Gue ganti dulu dikit. Lanjut.
Oke. Terus ada MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, dan bosen dong, masa cuma award yang sama kayak NFL? No, that's not how Warkop Media works. Kita punya 2 unofficial award, yaitu Asmuni, asal sebut musim ini, dan kedua, let's go. Asmuni Award.
By freaking God.
What does come from?
Asal sebut musim ini, betul. Lu kalau dengar coach atau player talk aneh-aneh, kita mau ngasih mereka award of the
7,5 juta tadi gue menang itu Asmuni, gue Asmuni kan.
Terus
itu masuk kandidat itu sebenarnya.
Itu kandidat itu.
Betul.
Put me in guys.
Terus how can you not be romantic about football moment? Itu our second award ya. This is our 2 unofficial awards, but I think the best awards. Jadi kita di sini nih ada Oka, Amar, Ardio, Farhan, gua, Andra. Kita bakal kasih nama, ya kan? Siapa nama kita dan kita tentuin iseng-iseng lucu aja, gitu. Oke, let's go to the awarding night. Mulai dari most valuable player, MVP award. Gua duluan karena gua host, suka-suka gua. Mampus lu pada nyari. Ya, gua punya power di sini. Buat sekarang, ntar gua rolling kok, tenang, gua fair. MVP gua Drake May. Itu the best quarterback so far. Kalau lu cek statsnya, dia adot paling tinggi. I have one of the best big time throw. Kalau lu cek EPA, dia ada di pojok kanan tuh. Lu cek pojok kanan tuh, semua stats EPA ada Drake May di sana. Kaget sih gua, he took the jump gila banget, ya kan. I don't even think dia ada step back at all. Kemarin udah kita coba jinx, tetap menang lawan Falcons walaupun dia ada 2 turnover ya. So far di his stats nih, ini crazy ya. 17 touchdown, 4 interception, 2.285 yard, 74% completion. 74, that's crazy stuff, man. Dan passer ratingnya masih 116, that's MVP level, sorry. Dual threat quarterback. So I have Drake May as my MVP. Itu dari gua. Nah, sekarang lanjut dari Oka, siapa MVP lo?
Gua kan pilih satu quarterback lagi yang over 70% completion rates, 116 passer ratings juga, over 2,000 passing yards dan 16 touchdown, 5 interceptions, dan dia led the league in yards per attempt. Ini adalah orang yang kita awalnya pas awal musim nggak perkirain dia akan ada di MVP considerations, but this is Sam Darnold season, man.
You pick my name, oh my god.
Yeah, Sam Darnold season.
Sam Darnold.
Kalau kita bilang Sam Darnold pas kita di 2022 kita ngomongin Sam Darnold, I think that people will think about him as a bust, ya kan?
Yes.
Tapi setelah dia sempat main di Minnesota, terus juga dapat refurbishment dari bengkel KOC Jaya. It hits a really career heights in everything, dari passing yards dia really good musim lalu, dan sekarang juga in Seattle he actually really excelling. Dan dia juga in Seattle sekarang juga lagi rekornya 6-2, jadi salah satu top seeded di NFC. Jadi in overall performance, not only he's very accurate, not like waktu dia masih di Jets atau mungkin di Panthers, tapi dengan seluruh weapon, dengan head coach yang sudah support dia, I think that this might be the season. Dan gue rasa dengan stats yang dia punya sekarang, he deserve that shout MVP.
Good stuff. Ya, gue Sam Darnold is in the second of my list sih. Dia have very great year, apalagi pas lo nonton kemarin lawan Commanders, first half-nya itu kayak the GOAT sih. Dia nggak ada incompletion sama sekali, kayak 229 yard, 16 completion, no incompletion at all, dan 4 touchdown ya.
That game was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, we have the same mind, Chief. Ya kan? Kita ngeliat Sam Darnold, and I think that's an MVP. Iya.
Dan oke, Sam Darnold solid choice. Sekarang gue pengen dengar dulu dari Farhan. Siapa?
Alhamdulillah ya Allah. Itu nama udah abis nih nama ketiga gue. Udah abis, udah gak ada. Gue satu-satunya bright spot yang kayaknya disacrifice satu pemain tiap game tuh, ada satu aja pemain yang disacrifice buat kesehatan dia, yaitu Christian McCaffrey yang baru ngebantai Giants. Gila.
Wow. Kembal adeknya tuh,
true MVP sih.
Look, McCaffrey out for the season.
Betul,
for the sake of his brother.
Di musim dimana si CMC bisa sehat like all these games, pemain lainnya pada cedera semua.
Iya.
Somehow gitu.
CMC tuh gue gak main counting stats, soalnya counting stats is for pussies. Jadi persen stats.
Oh my god.
38% dari offense-nya Niners itu CMC. 40% dari touchdown-nya Niners itu CMC. Kalau nggak ada CMC, Niners jadi Jets. Robert Saleh lagi.
That defines most valuable players.
Fair points ya.
Crazy man, he's just been doing anything with Mac Jones as his quarterback.
Ya, gue nyebutin angkatannya dia aja, tapi from all that running back yang udah pada jadi all pro juga, Pro Bowls, CMC still going strong is very crazy.
Crazy sih. Oke, Ardio, MVP lu siapa? Pasti Mahomes ya?
Enggak dong, Daniel Jones.
No way, come on.
Oh,
Daniel Jones dong. Enggak. Ini
gue nggak salah dengar kan ya?
Nggak salah dengar. Statsnya emang yards-nya paling banyak. Completion-nya hampir 70%, ya 69,6 bagus. Terus dia bikin Colts itu jadi 7-2. Karena simpelnya Colts tahun lalu sama tahun sekarang skuadnya nggak banyak berubah. Nambah Daniel Jones langsung menang. Padahal tahun lalu tuh rekornya 8-9. Mau menang aja tuh susah. Sama Anthony Richardson, cuma ditukar sama Daniel Jones from New York Giants, langsung 7-2. Harusnya tuh bisa 8-1.
Tapi Daniel Jones fair enough sih. Well, he has a renaissance ya tahun ini. I think he has like 14 touchdown, 6 interception, right? Dan 4 rushing touchdown if I'm not wrong. Ini gue seingat gue aja ya, karena gue head watching. Masih banyakan masih banyakan Daniel Jones interception dibanding Jackson Dart, by the way. 3. but fair enough. Daniel Jones buat MVP. He has been very good with the Colts. The underlying number juga nggak bohong sih. Emang Colts have good OL, weaponnya juga lebih bagus dibanding Giants, tapi he makes the most out of it sih menurut gua harus nggak bias.
Itu lo ngomong sambil nelen ludah ya sebenarnya itu?
Enggak, gua sambil naruh jari ke pantat gua biar gua lupa rasanya.
sambil
Hey yo.
Badan.
Oke, terakhir
rusak.
Dua terakhir. Pertama, buat Amar, MVP lu siapa Amar so far?
Kenapa nggak ada yang milih Josh Allen ya?
Oh, nggak ada, belum.
Not yet.
I mean, Josh Allen is breaking records. Dia di musim ini udah 6 touchdown, which makes him the only quarterback yang main selama 8 season pertamanya itu at least score 6 rushing touchdown. 3 pemain lainnya nih ya, yang selain quarterback, obviously running back, gue sebutin Jim Brown, Marshall Faulk, dan Daniel Tomlinson, elite company. Total rushing touchdown-nya dia sekarang 72 career wise 72. 3 lagi nyamain rekornya Cam Newton.
Damn.
By the way, sekali lagi, I'm talking about statistics of a quarterback, not a running back. So, give that into perspective lah gitu. Well, that alone should prove that Josh Allen should be crowned as this year's MVP.
Back to back.
Yeah,
exactly. I think what's good about Allen ya, dia itu nggak dikasih weapon elite ya kan sejak Stephen Diggs cabut. Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer,
Khalil Shakir
dan James Cook. James Cook bagus sih ya. Cuma there is no like elite wide receiver gitu loh, nggak kayak
JSN,
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson,
Andre Yosivas.
Andre Yosivas siapa? Who the hell is that guy?
Chief punya the most respectable driver in Dallas.
Rashid Rice.
Rashid. Yes.
The driver of the year.
I can see the point sih, karena operating the offense without WR yang bisa separate, it's hard man. Tapi offense builds tetap bagus. So I guess good shot Josh Allen. Nah sekarang kita bakal move to the second award. Ya kan, MVP udah, kita punya nama kita masing-masing. Ada Drake May, Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones, ada CMC, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen. Nah sekarang kita bahas Offensive Player of the Year. Nih jadi mungkin buat semuanya ya, biasanya MVP itu di-reserve buat quarterback. Mau running back lu bagus kayak apa atau wide receiver lu bagus kayak apa, MVP belongs to quarterback. Jadi mungkin Oka, lu ingat gak ya siapa sih yang terakhir menang MVP non quarterback Kak?
MVP non quarterback
AP,
itu terakhir Adrian Peterson
ya,
2012.
Tuh udah 13 tahun kita nggak punya non quarterback MVP ya. Jadi expect the MVP will be quarterback, tapi Opoy baru di reserve buat skill position, tight end, wide receiver ataupun running back. Biasanya wide receiver atau running back sih. Nah Opoy tahun kemarin tuh Saquon Barkley. Nah,
batuk juga tuh
batuk juga ya, banyak musuh gua. Enggak baik. Nah, sekarang gue balik ya. Tadi gue udah duluan karena gue fair dan gue merciful. Sekarang dan gue bakal nanya sekarang Chief duluan. Chief Amar, who's your offensive player of the year?
Easy, Jonathan Taylor.
Ardio anjir.
Oke.
Bukan. Itu kan buat gua tadi.
Boleh dong.
Ya lagian kenapa nggak disebut?
That's on you.
That's on you, man.
That's on you, man. Jonathan Taylor, insane run. I mean, the Colts has the system. It builds the system. It makes Jonathan Taylor's job easier. But let's not take away how great he is throughout this past few weeks, past few months. Gitu.
Good stuff. Terus kita langsung ya ke Ardio. Siapa offensive player of the year lo?
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Wah,
great pick. Great pick.
Iya, itu like top receiver lah. Number one receiver right now.
Literally.
Nggak perlu disebutin banyak.
Betul, cannot argue with
that. Ibaratnya Ja'Marr Chase aja kalah sama dia.
Ya dia udah mau 1000
Salah
yard.
kebalik. Ja'Marr Chase aja ngalahin Ja'Marr Chase.
Dia udah mau 1000 yard by the way, udah 948
Betul.
yard dan 4 touchdown baru week 9. His connection with Sam Darnold itu gila banget sih tahun ini, kayak they have each other they have like each other backs gitu loh. Kayak Darnold lempar ke Jason, most likely he will catch it. Crazy connection.
Ya.
Dan kita
Dan
move
game-nya juga paling banyak.
to Farhan, who's your Opoy?
In the interest of saving time, lo run it back aja omongan gue pas ngomongin MVP. Pasti masih
CMC lagi. Iya. Good. Ya, biasanya kalau lu ngomong running back udah masuk MVP Convo, biasanya dia bakal masuk Opoy Convo sih.
Apa-apa.
Definitely.
Mungkin MVP
Yes.
gue salah, Opoy gue bener. Opoy gue salah, MVP gue bener. Paling nggak gue bener sekali.
Oke.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Oka, siapa Opoy lu?
Gue sebenarnya tiga nama udah disebut. 3 nama itu ada di list gue, tapi gue ada, I think there's 2 more yang sebenarnya gue pertimbangin, tapi gue akan tetap pilih Ja'Marr Chase.
Ja'Marr Chase.
Ja'Marr Chase dengan Joe Burrow cedera, practically sebenarnya semusim ya, ya karena 3 bulan 4 bulan dan ya it will take some time to healing. Ja'Marr Chase playing with 3 different quarterbacks dan sekarang dia masih lead the league in reception, 76 catches, 831 receiving yards. Jadi di nomor 2 setelah JSN. Ya he basically like the real reliable wide receiver number 1 dengan quarterback situation mereka yang sempat kita bisa bilang tumultuous lah ya. Kalau misalkan JSN dia punya Sam Darnold, he was electric all seasons. Ja'Marr Chase has to endure Jack Browning dulu baru bisa dapet Joe Flacco.
Super Bowl winner quarterback Joe Flacco.
Elite quarterback.
Yeah, elite quarterback 2012
Super
Super Bowl champion Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is definitely an upgrade buat Jack Browning, tapi nggak menutup all of the things tentang Ja'Marr Chase. Ya harus bekerja dengan 3 quarterback berbeda. With all the stats that he put up, dan dia juga salah satu top skill positions player di fantasy juga. Musim lalu itu dia come up second ya di offensive player of the year.
Betul.
setelah Saquon.
Betul.
So I think that this is his time to win the offensive player of the year.
Okay, nice. Nah, terakhir gua will blow your mind, but my Opoy pick is George Pickens.
Okay.
Pickens.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Bukan kandidat gue tadi itu, bukan apa yang gue pikirin selain Ja'Marr Chase.
George Pickens. Karena apa? Satu, CeeDee Lamb sempat cedera beberapa minggu, tapi offense Cowboys don't lose a step. Dan George Pickens itu nomor 3 di total yards, 764 di belakang JSN dan Ja'Marr Chase. And he has 6 touchdown already. Menurut gue Pickens dulu orang bilang wah WR dilepas Steelers pasti bakal hancur, udah selesai, Steelers tahu kapan harus lepas wide receiver. No, I think just Steelers cannot use George Pickens correctly, unlike Dak Prescott. Yang gue selalu maintain my position, Dak Prescott itu one of the best quarterback in NFL. He knows how to use him, he trusts him, dan emang George Pickens one of the best contested catches wide receiver ya. Kayak he doesn't need separation that much to catch the ball. Dia tinggi banget, physical, so that's my pick. 764 yards, 6 touchdown, just a tad below Ja'Marr Chase and Jason. That's crazy number by the way for me ya. So that's my pick, George Pickens. Sekarang kita lanjut ke The Boy Defensive Player of the Year, right? Karena tadi udah Amar, sekarang kita ke Farhan. Han, siapa The Boy lo?
Bukannya balik lagi ke lu.
Of course we know.
Kita enggak kalau dulu dong, Jo.
Enggak, gua aturan, gua randomize aja.
Suka-suka host.
Boleh.
I have the power.
Yeah,
This is my
I'll tell you.
territory. My domain expansion is this meeting room.
Oh, He-Man.
Yes.
Power.
Gas, siapa Han di Boy lu?
I think I
Banyak
know
loh
who it is.
pilihannya.
Nggak usah mikir jauh-jauh, lo nonton aja Cleveland Browns lawan Patriots, itu ada 1 game 5 sack lawan spoiler Oroy
5
gue
sacks.
Will Campbell
Juga ya.
ngaco pak, udahlah nggak usah diomongin, dia ngambil duit terserah, tapi nggak usah komplain kalau kalah, jago banget.
Yeah,
Udah
Myles
itu.
Garrett, man.
Miles
Crazy.
Garrett ya.
Crazy. Yeah.
Kalau Miles Garrett good pick. Terus kedua gue mau minta Ardio. The Poi lu siapa?
Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. Gokil. Kenapa tuh Ardio?
Indiana
Nggak,
Colts.
biasanya sih gue pengen
yang tadi.
gue lu diem-diem Colts fans ya tahun ini ya, bukan Chief lagi ya. Dan
Gua
tadi pilihannya
mendukung
Colts
yang
semua
lu-
soalnya. Daniel
Nggak
Jones,
apa-apa.
JT, sekarang Sauce.
Sauce Gardner kan tadi yang disebutin di awal sama Amar juga kan dia first and second in everything lah. First year separationnya bagus, tight window force di second, sama coverage snap per receptionnya juga first, jadi kayak ya itu mungkin angkanya nggak kelihatan tapi ya mainnya yang bagus dan kemungkinan itu juga jadi impactful nantinya ke Colts.
Nice. Oke. Terus abis itu Oka dulu.
Gua sorry Joe, gua mungkin akan ngambil salah satu pemain dari tim lo. Gua akan pilih Brian Burns.
Nice. I
I
love
knew
it.
it.
That's
Love it.
I
That
saw it
guy
coming.
is-
Brian Burns.
absolute elite. Kalau
Spider-Man.
misalkan gua tanya siapa leader sacks di musim ini,
Leader
Brian
sacks.
Burns.
Wow.
11.
Brian Burns, man.
Brian Burns 11 sacks dia.
11 sacks. Dan dulu tuh Brian Burns berapa first round picks ya di trade dari Giants ke Panthers, dari Panthers ke Giants?
Enggak
Itu
ada,
dua.
cuma second and fifth, enggak ada first.
Please.
Really, gak ada first round picks
Nggak ada
buat
first.
Brian Burns.
Second and
That's
fifth.
cheap.
Gue ingat banget.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
Crazy
That's-
stuff.
That's a steal deal kalau gitu. Tapi satu stats lagi yang menurut gue paling menonjol dari Brian Burns ini adalah dia generate 21 pressures dari posisi dia sebagai edge rushers, dan dia totaling sebagai individual dia totaling 31,4% dari total team defense pressures dari Giants.
Crazy.
Giants 67 pressures, over 30% itu cuma dari Brian Burns sendiri. So he's really working hard for that defense. Dan ya kita juga sering nonton juga kayak defense Giants trying their hardest untuk keep them in the game sometimes.
Yep.
Or maybe sometimes it's kind of like vice versa gitu. Tapi 11 sacks it's nothing to dismiss about gitu loh. 11 sacks just tentang stats itu aja tuh udah cukup bisa bilang kalau this player is elite gitu. So I think that Brian Burns is really in the conversation bareng Myles Garrett.
Yes, gue sih setuju. Emang Brian Burns has been one of the few bright spots di Giants, especially he works hard. Dia kayaknya dia deserve to get Pro Bowl All Pro. Nah, sekarang gue mau milih. The boy pick is none other than Nick Bonito. Dia
Q, man.
Ya.
Q.
Udah habis list gue soalnya. Udah diambil semua. Burns, Bonito, Garrett. Yes, cuma Nick Bonito has great years, total 36 pressures, 10 sacks. Dia juga fourth in stops rate di PFF. Mungkin buat yang di rumah itu stops buat di PFF adalah tackle yang prevent first down ya. 21 dari Nick Bonito. He's been having elite years. Dia di-paid like elite edge rusher and the production is elite. Jadi gue nggak kaget kalau the point is three-headed race between Burns, Bonito, dan juga siapa tadi, Myles Garrett. Dan terakhir Chief Amar.
I should have picked Nick Bonito. I mean, man, he was really awesome. But since I have no one else to pick, I'm gonna pick Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons,
what?
not bad pick though.
4 sacks, 6 tackles for the past 3 weeks. He's definitely up there. Sayangnya kita kan nggak ngelihat sampai setelah musim ini ya gitu. Kalau gue sih lihatnya setelah musim ini perjalanannya masih panjang, jadi harusnya kalau kita lihat sampai di akhir musim dia masih punya peluang yang cukup besar untuk menang sebagai Defensive Player of the Year. Tapi dengan apa yang ada sekarang ya, he's up there lah.
Yes. Also Micah Parsons ya, kalau lu lihat gue sih nggak terlalu use PFF grade unless gue untuk belain Jackson Dart. PFF grade, tapi PFF grade Micah Parsons dia 92, second out of 190 edge by the way.
Yeah, so that's good enough lah
Yes.
for the contention.
Tapi gue kaget pas Farhan nge-pick Myles Garrett sebenarnya, karena gue pikir dia akan milih his own team.
Aidan Hutchinson.
Kita kan media, kita harus parsial loh.
Iya.
Gue kalau misalkan punya alasan yang cukup kuat, gue akan pilih Will Anderson, Ben.
Nah,
Will
kenapa
Anderson is the main
Kenapa nggak?
defensive end in the number one defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
Houston.
Kalau
Pasti
full
defense
season
gitu.
gue full conviction Aidan Hutchinson, tapi abis nonton Patriots lawan Browns gue full conviction Myles Garrett.
Oke, sekarang offensive rookie and defensive rookie of the year. Gue dulu. Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter.
Easy pick.
Hey man, Jackson Dart on pace buat 23 touchdown, 7 interception dan 12 rushing touchdown, 35 touchdown on pace man, like I don't make the rules.
Katanya apa week 9 anjir ngomongin on pace anjir.
Ya tapi gak ada lagi siapa lagi quarterback. Orang biasanya bilang itu quarterback 10 touchdown, 5 rushing touchdown dan cuma 3 interception. Lebih banyak interceptionnya Daniel Jones dibanding Jackson Dart, the best quarterback in this class. I don't make the rules. Tapi sayangnya habis itu NFL season beres di week 7 ya. Habis itu kayaknya gue gak pernah nonton NFL lagi sih. Terakhir Giants Eagles kalau gak salah. Terus habis itu gue gak tahu, blackout gue setiap hari Minggu, gak tahu kan Minggu Senin terus kayak lupa gitu. Itu gue. Terus kalau Abdul Carter simple aja, although the counting stats not good, but he's making pressure all the time. Dia baru 1 sack tapi total pressure-nya 30 according to PFF. So he's getting there, he will get his counting stats. That's my Droy and Oroy. Nah, sekarang kita ke Chief Amar. Who's your Oroy Droy?
Alhamdulillah dikasih pilih duluan. Offensive Rookie of the Year, easy choice. You know what it is, you know who it is. Emeka Egbuka. And for defensive Rookie of the Year, I am picking. Oh, this is really hard. I am picking Jalen Walker, Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, Jalen Walker. Okay.
Alasan singkat aja, Emeka Egbuka, you see the production, you see the connection, it's definitely there. Kalau memang award ini nggak dimenangin sama quarterback, it's got to be Emeka Egbuka. Jalen Walker, I think that game versus the Bills kinda seal it for him to, kayak that win brought him to the surface.
Yes.
So
nice pick Jalen Walker dan Egbuka. Nice. Oke, kalau gitu kita lanjut ke Oka. Siapa Oroy Droy?
Yang di Roy-nya sebenarnya udah dipilih sama Chief Amar. I think Jalen Walker is 3 sacks, crazy kan. Gua untuk offensive rookie of the year, I will pick actually one of the other NFC South drafted first round wide receiver, yaitu Tetairoa McMillan. Tetairoa McMillan. Chad McMillan man. Karena kalau misalkan kita lihat offense-nya Panthers sendiri kan mereka very ground game based juga. Tapi Tetairoa McMillan jadi leading wide receiver-nya mereka, dan juga dengan stats-nya sekarang 41 catches, 558 receiving yards. Sekarang dia receiving yards-nya sendiri itu udah hampir 25% dari total receiving yards total passing yards dari yang Panthers cetak selama 9 pertandingan terakhir ini. So I think that he will be very close. It will be very close race between Egbuka terus juga Ted. Maybe another rookie, another candidate buat offensive rookie of the year yang lain nanti mungkin akan disebut. But I think that Tetairoa McMillan is one to beat right now. Sorry, Chief Amar. That's fine.
Good pick.
For D-Roy, gue akan pilih Derrick Harmon. I think untuk D-Roy selain Abdul Carter and Jalen Walker sekarang mungkin pilihannya nggak terlalu banyak. But Derrick Harmon is a very good run stuffer di Pittsburgh. Dan dia udah bikin 2 sacks. I think that when Cam Hayward retire, dia akan jadi pengganti yang sepadan untuk Cam Hayward. So I think untuk defensive rookie of the year, Derrick Harmon is my pick.
To begin with, this year is a bit weak ya di defensifnya. Jadi kita milihnya juga agak susah.
Yeah. Betul. Cuma gue yakin banget Farhan bakal milih Carson Schwarzenegger sih buat Dorai. Oke, Ardio, karena Farhan paling tahu terakhir dia kan suka ngintip Rock Mini ya. Jadi gue dia oke banget nih sama rookie.
Dia terakhir aja.
Iya nih.
Betul. Nah, Ardio siapa Oroy dan Droy?
Oroynya Tyler Warren.
Good pick man.
Nice pick.
Itu tight end rookie 3 touchdown 370 yard. Udah cukup lah untuk bilang jadi salah satu jadi Oroy.
Cuma ya
kalau
Ardio milih Colts semua
ya?
lagi ya. Ada Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren. Menarik. Siapa Droy-nya?
Ini kayaknya
Droy-nya Carson Schwarzenegger.
Alright.
52 tackle 1 sack dong. Bagus salah satu. Dulu paling bagus dia.
Gue yakin Farhan masih banyak jawaban Droy. Tiba-tiba diambil pemain yang gak pernah lo denger sebelumnya.
Iya, banyak rock yang udah diintip lah.
Iya. Ayo, ini Master Rock Mini nih. Ya kan? Give us our smooth pick, man.
Mau yang ball knower apa mau yang biasa nih?
Absolutely ball knower, man.
Ball
knower
Oke.
dong.
Defense, cornerback Buccaneers, Jacob Parrish. Itu value for money banget. Lu kalau lihat dia main nggak pernah ditarget, soalnya jago banget.
That's the case kayak siapa? Sauce Gardner juga gitu tuh di awal-awal musim tuh.
Beneran. Udah cuma
gak
game
ada
1.
interception karena gak ditarget. Gimana caranya dapat interception kalau gak ditarget?
Nah,
game 1 dicoba.
Jets juga kan?
Iya. Game 1 dicoba, game 2 sampai sekarang targetnya dikit tuh. Jadi kalau nggak pernah denger ya maklum, Jacob Parrish. Watch the tape. Satu lagi offense. Tess Johnson. Lightest player in the draft. Dia MVP Tyler. Tess Johnson. Dia step up abis Godwin sama
Ekbuka sempat cedera kan?
Ekbuka juga cedera
Macmillan,
juga.
Ekbuka cedera semua. Yang step up MVP kita Tess Johnson.
Adek angkatnya Bonix by the way, mungkin buat fun fact dia adek angkatnya Bonix.
Sumpah random banget itu.
Mungkin fun fact Tess Johnson kalau lo cek di wiki dia adek angkatnya Bonix by the way. Itu for real, gue nggak bohong. Makanya dia juga di Oregon, dia adik angkat Bonix. Dia diadopsi sama bapaknya Patrick Nix. Step bro. That's it. And then that's all of our awards yang nggak asik. Nah yang asik ada 2, Asmuni asal sebut musim ini dan how can you not be romantic about football baby. Nah karena tadi gue udah duluan and I am all merciful host, kita rolling lagi. Nah tadi kan Farhan terakhir, sekarang Farhan pertama. Farhan sebutin gue langsung 2 aja, siapa Asmuni lu musim ini dan how can you not be romantic about football baby.
Oke. Asmuni gue tua Tagovailoa dia nyalahin tim leadership kalau pemain-pemainnya nggak ada yang disiplin. Padahal cek dia gol.
Padahal dia kapten.
Itu pick Asmun sih.
Well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right?
Terus kalau romantic lu siapa?
Week 7 kemarin Seahawks Bucks, double throwback, double redeemable second chance quarterback, double Ohio receivers battling it out for 4 hours atau 60 minutes. Itu udah pure cinema menurut gue.
Yeah. Football gets some crazy stuff.
Oke, that's Farhan pick, good stuff. Gue sekarang mau ke Ardio. Siapa Asmuni lu? Siapa romantic lu?
Mantik.
Yes.
Asmuninya gue nambahin dari tua lagi nih, yang di tunnel. Yang dia bilang kayak 60 minutes, tiba-tiba langsung ngomong 4 hours. Gue gak ngerti kenapa. Apa yang salah sama internal otaknya, tiba-tiba dari 60 menit dia bilang 4 hours, itu kayak bro, kayaknya konversinya gak segitunya deh.
Hey, we got 60 minutes. 60 minutes tonight. 4 hours. Okay? 4 hours of making that billion.
Bro, ini gimana sih 60 menit? 4 jam.
Dia exchange rate-nya jelek,
Tapi-
Pak. Otaknya udah otaknya dulu.
Makanya pola pikirnya udah kena. Makanya nambah-nambahin aja tua. Sama itulah ya, sama romantic gua ada di week 7. Battle of Ankh, Super Ankh Bowl. Bengals versus Steelers.
Wow, itu sih.
Itu seru sih.
Itu
Itu seru, dimana
Great pick,
lo
seru
kira Ankh sama Ankh ini, paman sama paman ini mainnya bakal boring atau gimana, ternyata kejar-kejaran ya. Dan
It was
seru.
Thursday night football kan?
Yes, betul.
Thursday Night Football.
Oke, good stuff Ardio. Terus gue mau Oka, siapa Asmuni dan siapa romantis ke event romantik lo buat tahun ini?
Asmuni gue itu sebenarnya kejadian di agak lumayan di awal musim kayak week 1, week 2. Tapi kalian ingat dengan quotes-nya Cam Ward nggak?
Ingat dong.
Gue tahu lagi
Ingat
dia
kan?
bakal bawa ini.
Iya, Cam Ward.
If I ever
Ketika-
figure
I
out
think
the league, you're done. Something
Yeah.
like that, huh?
Quotes-nya dia itu, oke, produser siap untuk ngesensor gue ya. Once I play how I wanted to play, the league is dan apa sekarang kejadiannya sekarang
He is.
Sekarang dia
I know for sure he is. Pak.
Yes.
yeah.
So far Cam Ward 5 touchdown, 6 interception di 9 game.
If that's not,
He's-
I don't know what it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Not-
Bonnie Brook, man.
It's not the league that's being, tapi ternyata dia yang kena
Yeah.
gitu.
Yeah.
But it's very funny moment kayak. Oke, so romantik gue akan ambil game yang ada Texans-nya, tapi yang ngelakuin hal yang romantik ini is not from my team gitu.
Oh.
Yang ngelakuin ini adalah dari Baker Mayfield di week 2. Fourth quarter drive yang dia bikin bikin 2-minute warnings 14-19 saat itu fourth down conversion udah mau di-sack oleh linebackernya dari Texans, tapi dia bisa lolos dan bisa dapat first down. Habis itu mereka bisa langsung drive sampai ke end zone, akhirnya Rashad White touchdown. I think it's one of the best comeback drive di musim ini dengan Baker Mayfield almost getting sacked, almost game over. Itu sebenarnya kenapa waktu week 2 atau week 3 yang bikin gue crash out really bad ya di episode ini. Gue perlu pencurahan hati di situ karena gue ngeliatin that game should have been won by Texans, tapi well, game itu juga jadi salah satu narasi awal kita ketika kita nge-hype Baker Mayfield as an MVP. So I think that it's a very romantic drive if you look at that way.
Nice. It is like a grit and everything about football. It was on that drive actually.
Dan kita bisa bilang kalau romantic is not always very good for you. It sometimes can be hurt gitu. Bisa bikin sakit loh. Yeah.
Betul. Gue
Wow,
setuju.
puitis juga itu.
Sometimes romantic
Mules gitu kan.
gak selalu bikin kita senang. Betul. Amar, who's your pick for Asmuni dan romantic event about football this week?
In order not to lose any game, we have to try to win.
Itu McDaniel sih.
In order not to lose.
Aaron Glenn.
McDaniels.
McDaniel atau Aaron Glenn ya?
Itu banyak
Iya, between the two, it's either Aaron Glenn or Mike McDaniel.
Kinda similar ya.
Both
3HC.
coaches said almost
Aaron
similar
Glenn.
things gitu kayak.
So, to win games, you have to win the game, not lose the game, honestly. And that is how you lose the game. You're moving the.
I don't know if I say it right, but now that I think about it, doesn't make any sense. It does make sense, but lu harus mikir kayak ada effort buat pikirnya lah gitu. Dan dua-duanya not winning any game, so that's an asbun for me lah.
Ya. Itu 3HC by the way, Kevin Stefanski, Mike McDaniel sama Ron Glenn, tiga-tiganya baru menang 2 game at most by the way.
Dan tiga-tiganya asbun.
Betul. That quote, if your head coach said that quote, it's over man. Just book your holiday.
Ya, lu lihat
Fast
aja.
forward to next season. Oke, dan romantic football eventnya Mat, apa nih yang lu romantic football event lo?
Let me say this. That throw from Drake May. Kan nih agak-agak sedikit intermezzo sedikit. You guys know belum berapa lama Tom Brady cloning anjing yang udah meninggal, kemudian dia clone anjing baru kan gitu dari DNA anjing yang udah meninggal. Now, let me tell you this. Lu percaya gak kalau Drake May is a clone of Tom Brady based on that technology? At least kalau gak perfect clone kayak adalah sari-sari Tom Brady di situ.
Yeah.
Bayi tabung kan?
It's too good man, Drake May is too good, kayak generational talent yang kita bilang Caleb Williams.
Generational
It's actually
talent.
Drake May that's actually generational talent. He's that good. Dan sekarang giliran gue terakhir sekalian buat nutup this podcast ya. Gak jauh-jauh sih Asmuni gue itu datang dari Aaron Glenn pas dia defend Justin Fields dan bandingin sama Lamar Jackson dan Josh Allen. Dibilang katanya Justin Fields hold the ball too long, but so did Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
And then we know who that player is. You look at Lamar. I think Lamar, his numbers getting the ball out is higher than Justin's. I think Josh Allen's numbers are higher than Justin's. But I think everybody tends to see who those guys are and understand that. And for some reason, they don't understand Justin. But listen, I'm not.
My brother in arms. Josh Allen gak pernah throw more than punya passing yard minus 10 yards net. Tolong. Dia nggak apa-apa megang bola lama, tapi jatuh ke tangan wide receiver, nggak ke tanah, nggak ke cacing tanah, nggak ke luar stand. Jadi tolong. Sama kayak Lamar Jackson, itu asal banget. Gue tau lo membela quarterback lo, tapi mikir juga lo dicincang di media New York. Asal banget ngomong. Itu Asmuni gue. Terus kalau momen gue itu pas Jackson Dart menang lawan Chargers, debut dia. My man, he was so beaten man. He was
4-6.
Yes, he was sacked all over the place. And in the corner of the locker room, he was sick, beaten, sweat, and brandable.
Anjir.
Came to him. Right? He came to him, put his hat on his head, and my boy, good job.
No.
He's saying it like very whispery.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
To his moist sweat ears, like I love you, Dart. Save my life.
Iya, jorok banget.
Ini tuh kayak stencil yang waktu itu lu share gak sih? Yang dari beat writer-nya Giants.
Iya.
Sebel banget, sebel.
Itu real thing loh guys.
Itu real thing.
Itu real
by the way.
jurnalis.
Itu bukan
Real
Wesley
jurnalis.
Steinberg, itu Connor Hughes dari SNY yang cover Mets Knicks. Dia cover Jets and Giants. Itu basically what he said on that tweet, kayak it was very erotical moment ya, dan menurut gue itu how can it not be so romantic buat football. A relationship between 50-year-old man on the verge of firing dan up and coming rising star a quarterback. That moment changed my life. That moment changed my life.
Will.
Ini
Never
ngomongin
been the same.
Bill Belichick sama Jordan, bukan kan?
Nah itu gue mau ngomong gitu.
No way.
No way man, itu aduh. I guess that's the episode for today. Again, everything helps dari views, dari like. Please, if you enjoy this, like, subscribe, dan share it to your friends. Also, follow our social media, WRKP Media, in Twitter, TikTok, dan juga Instagram. That's it, everyone.
Hell yes.
Have a nice day, and see you next week for the Week 10 recap. Bye!